You don't have to like me. I'll cook a dinner enough for the both of us. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Rafael and I am here to review episode 20 of the real chaotic Housewives of Salt Lake City. So we start the episode off right where we left off with Lisa going off in the bathroom about Meredith and calling her a whore, saying that she fucked half of New York, 25% of New Jersey, 10% of Florida, and 5% of North Carolina. Meanwhile, Meredith outside, she is walking away from Whitney and her foolishness and her line of questioning because Whitney insists on Meredith lying about her dad's memorial and saying, I'm not really sure, were you really there at your dad's memorial or are you just making that up because you're really responsible for Jen's arrest, because she insists on Meredith being the one that called the police on Jen for some reason. And Meredith, she's just had enough, so she's walking away. She's upstairs in her room, she's changing. Mary follows right behind Meredith, but by the time she reaches upstairs, Meredith is already in her room with the door locked, and she's in there changing. But Mary, she insists on going in there, so she keeps knocking on the door like, Meredith, come on, it's me, Mary, you know, Mary M. Cosby, open up the door. But Meredith, she wants nothing to do with anybody because she is fuming, and she's upset at Whitney's accusations that she's throwing at her about her dad's memorial and the whole thing being made up. So she's telling Mary, I just want to be left alone right now. I need some space. I'm in here changing right now, and I think I'm going to call my son Brooks. So please, just leave me alone. I just need some space between you and Whitney and even Jennifer Shaw. So just please leave me alone. But Mary, she's just not taking no as an answer. So she keeps knocking, and she's like, come on, Meredith, please open up the door. I have a bag right now of Gucci shoes. They could be yours. And that's all that it took for Meredith to open up the door. Meredith also made a good point in her confessional by stating, well, if I was the reason that Jen went to jail and I was the reason that the police were supposedly called to Beauty Lab to go find her, why would I not be there front row and center on the sprinter to see Jennifer Shaw's downfall? And as evil as it sounds, I agree with Meredith, because if Meredith hated Jennifer Shaw that much, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't miss out on the opportunity of seeing Jen get exposed in front of everybody for being some fraud or some alleged crook or some alleged scammer. So meanwhile, Lisa is in the other room just going off and screaming at the top of her lungs, and she's slowly unraveling and becoming a hot-ass mess as she's packing up all her stuff. And Jenny, she's coming upstairs, and as soon as she walks into the room, Lisa just lets her have it, and she's like, no, Jenny, no. You need to get out of my room now. Like, this is just pathetic. Like, you've been a terrible friend to me all night. You sat there while Meredith and Mary attacked me, and you didn't even defend me. Like, this is just sad. And remember that free bottle of Vita tequila that I gave you this morning? Well, I want it back, and you're gonna have to pay full price for it, plus tax, plus shipping. I don't care. You're gonna have to give it back to me, because nobody on the show wants to be honest like Lisa Barlow. Like, I'm the only one who's keeping it real to Jen, Meredith, and Mary. I'm the only one who brings up issues that we have with the group to their faces, and nobody else wants to do it. And I'm like, Lisa, that's your own problem, because again, as smart as you think that you are, you're not seeing that Heather and Whitney are using you as their puppet, as their guinea pig. So you could be kind of like their mouth, and they could just kind of like sit back like, yeah, we all agree with what Lisa is saying, but she's gonna get the backlash because all of this is coming out of her mouth. So that's something that you're not seeing. If you would have never said anything and just let Whitney and Heather kind of just dig their own grave, they will be the ones receiving everybody's backlash. But you, for some reason, you want everybody's loyalty. And let's get that out of the way too, because Jenny, to her point, she was defending you a little bit with the whole Taco Bell comment. But at the same time, even if Jenny, Heather, and Whitney were to jump into your defense for some reason, all four of you are still wrong. So I'm not really sure what you need defending on, because at the end of the day, Meredith and Mary, they didn't do anything wrong, at least in my eyes. So I'm not really sure what everybody else is seeing that they did so bad to them that they need defending or they need justification for something. Lisa continues to go off on Jenny, and she's like, no, everybody here continues acting like they're scared of each other, and I'm not sure why. All of you are acting like you're all fucking stupid. And I'm looking at Jenny like, Jenny, she's talking about you, so what are you gonna do? Where's the drink throwing? Where's the whole, oh, I'm gonna take off my earrings and tie up my hair in a bow? Like, where's that at? Oh, nothing? Okay, I guess not. So Lisa, she's in the bathroom. She continues going off, and she's like, you know what? Forget this. Forget you, Jen Shaw. Forget you, Meredith. Fuck you, Meredith. Fuck Jen. Like, no, I'm tired of this. Like, this is all too much for me. I can't take it. Meanwhile, we see Heather, Whitney, and Jen. They're coming up the stairs, and then Jen, she hears her name being yelled at. So she runs into the room, and I honestly thought she was gonna go in there swinging the way she went into the room. And did y'all notice that the security guard, he was waiting outside of the room as soon as Jen was getting closer, and then he got into the bathroom with them, and I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, I think this is the first time that I've seen security on this show. Actually, no, because we saw the producer on the show when Jen was about to go at it with Lisa, but that was the producer. But I haven't seen security on this show as of yet, I think. But Jen, she goes in there, she's like, wait, what's going on? No, what's going on? What, is the FBI here? Oh, they're not? Okay, where's Lisa? So she goes into the room, into the bathroom, where Lisa is just screaming and going off still, and then Heather follows in there, Whitney's in there, and then I think they close the door, and then Jenny, she runs up to the room because she hears like everybody screaming, and I thought honestly that Lisa had hit Jen or something was going on in their physical. Because as soon as they open up the door, Jen is holding Lisa back into a corner, and Lisa, she has a hair blower. A blow dryer in her hand, and I'm like, Lisa, let's put the weapons down now. Like, let's not catch a charge, and let's not get too far. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But they all go in there, and then did y'all also notice that the security guard, he also managed to squeeze himself through the crowd, and he's like in the bathroom, like in the bathtub. Like if you stop it at a specific moment, you see him in the background like this.
I've always had Meredith's back. Always. You too, John. You too. I can't believe this. Like, I've always been there for you, and nobody has my back. Nobody has my back at all. Like, no, I have a... No, get off me. No, get off me. No, this is just pathetic. Like, no.
They're all trying to calm Lisa down from going over the edge, and Jen, I'm actually surprised that she was in there talking as nicely and calmly as she was to Lisa, because just a second ago outside, you were screaming at Lisa saying, oh, well, if you want somebody to defend you, you should defend me the same way you want somebody to defend you. So I'm shocked that Jen did a whole 180 in the bathroom with Lisa. Lisa, she continues yelling, and then she yells out saying, oh, well, you know what? I don't even have to be here right now. I don't even have to be here. Get off me. Get off me. I don't even have to be here right now because I'm richer than all of you. And as soon as she would have said that, if I was Jen, Jenny, Whitney, and Heather, I would have been like, wait a minute. She says she's richer than all of us. Okay, everybody grab an arm and a leg. She's going in the pool tonight. Like real Bad Girls Club style, because at this point, this isn't even the Real Housewives. This is the Bad Girls Club Salt Lake City. Whitney, she jumps in and she's like, wait. Lisa, come out here. I want to talk to you really quickly. No, come over here. We're going to be besties. Yeah, you're going to be besties. Come out here. Okay, so I was there defending you when you left and you walked out and you did the hot mic, which people say that it was iconic. I thought it was cool too. But when you left, I defended you in your honor because I really wanted you to add me back on Instagram and watch season 1 of the Teletubbies with me. So I was there, and I told Meredith, was she lying about her memorial? And I was scared to do so at first, but I was there and I defended her. I defended you. So I think that you should take that into accountability. And then Lisa's like, no, it's just too much. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No. Are you kidding me? No. I can't believe this. I was always there for Meredith. I was always there for her. I defended her. I was always a good friend. And I'm like, were you a good friend though, Lisa? Because just a second ago, again, everybody seems to forget what they were just doing a minute ago. You were just in the bathroom saying she's a whore, she's this, she's that, and her family. So how much of a good friend are you? Because if you get that pissed and you just let it all out there in like a couple seconds, how much of a good friend were you really to Meredith? No, Whitney, I'm sorry. I'm not buying it from Meredith. Meredith has betrayed me way too many times. I can't believe this. Like, she has lied on me so many times and said that I have never been there for her, that I wasn't a good friend. Like, fuck you, Meredith. Like, I can't believe this. Like, you're literally the pot lying on the kettle. And I'm looking at that like, wait, what? The pot lying on the kettle? I thought it was, but all right. Meanwhile, Mary's upstairs, or she's in the living room looking out the window. I'm not really sure what she was looking for. Maybe she was looking for the FBI that was coming to look for Jen or something. But she mumbles underneath her breath. And I'm not really sure if this was a hot mic or if she knew what she was saying, because she was like, well, Heather, she's really disrespectful and she's very rude. And she has like the snobbiness of a typical Mormon. And she even looks inbred. And I'm just like, damn, Mary, I mean... Yikes. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, well, you know, I saw that people were upset about it, about her comment to Heather. But if we rewind at the beginning of the season, Lisa had also said the same thing about Whitney and her cousin Angie, and she called them inbred cousins. So, if you're going to be upset with Mary, also be upset with Lisa. Also, at this point, what's her name? Heather, she did kind of low blow her with the whole, oh, you know, you're married to your grandfather. So at this point, everybody's just throwing low blows at each other. So it's kind of like a free-for-all. So it's just like, you can't really be upset at one person over the other because they're all coming for each other's necks. So back in Lisa's room, they're continuing on with this Meredith situation. Jen, she's like, I understand what you're going through right now, because if I had a friend of 10 years and she was a shitty fucking friend, I would be just upset as you. I really would. So I completely understand you. And then Heather, she's like, she jumps in and I'm just like, it's so hilarious seeing how everybody's falling for Whitney and Heather's trap and they don't even see it. They're all like just a bunch of pawns in their game. And then Heather's just like, you know what, Lisa, I don't really think that Meredith has realized like the benefit of your friendship with Jen, because Jen, she has a lot of dirt on Meredith and she could really expose her and crucify her with all of that. But I feel like Jen, she just doesn't do it because she's loyal to you. And I was kind of confused on that. I'm like, wait, why would Jen not want to put Meredith's business out there? Because she's afraid of Lisa. Like, what correlation would that be? Like, where would that be? Like, if she says something about Meredith, will Lisa look at Jen sideways like, oh, you told her business, now I can't be friends with you? I'm confused on that. But Jen, I kind of want to know what business you do have with Meredith. So please, say it all. Also, circling back to Lisa's comment that she made earlier saying that she was the richest one on the cast, according to Google, because I researched it, she is the richest one on the cast with a net worth of $5 million. So Lisa, if you're hiring, call me, baby gorgeous. Meredith and Mary are downstairs in the kitchen, and then in comes Whitney. She sits down next to Mary, and Mary, she gets up and she's like, you know what? No, I'm not putting up with Whitney's foolishness. I'm just gonna go to the side of the kitchen, but she's still in view of everything that's going on. And then Meredith, she takes a page out of Whitney's book and she hits her with a low blow to her face. And she's like, you know what, Whitney? What if I don't believe that you haven't really talked to your father? What if I ripped the scab off and I poked you with something that hurt you? How would you like it then, huh? I don't believe that your father and you are not speaking. And then Whitney, you could tell that she wanted to cry and burst out into tears because, we all know that the relationship with her and her father is a very sensitive subject for her because their relationship hasn't always been the best. And he is just, kind of all over the place in her life. But at the same time, yes, it could be seen as a low blow. And it is a low blow. And it is very cruel what Meredith said to Whitney. But Whitney, you also been antagonizing her and poking at her with the whole dad memorial thing, knowing that her dad he passed away, and knowing that Meredith, she's still going through it emotionally, and you still just don't let off of that. So what do you expect, for her to just kind of like lay down and be your doormat? No, she's gonna hit you right where it hurts you too, because obviously she's been hurting from all these accusations from you and Heather constantly bringing that up. So then Whitney, she's like, well, I just wanted to know if the memorial was true. That's all. I just wanted to know if you were lying about it. And I'm like, Whitney, you were still continuing speaking of that and like asking her that to her face like that. Like, she just told you many times to stop and you continue going and going. And honestly, Meredith, she's a better woman than I am, because that wine glass, like, absolutely not. But Meredith, she's like, Whitney, what part of it don't you fucking get? I told you my father is fucking dead. Yours is alive. At least you know where he's at. Like, you need to stop. You need to cut it out. And then Whitney, she proceeds. Well, first in her confessional, she was just like, well, at least Meredith knows where her father is. He's resting peacefully. Mine, I'm not really sure. And I'm like, Whitney, again, I'm just like, Whitney, like, I just don't know what she was thinking when she was filming these scenes. I don't know how much tequila or drink she had in her system, but I'm like, you have diarrhea of the mouth right now, and this is not helping your case. And then she puts the nail on the coffin again for the 100th time, and she's like, well, okay, fine. It's none of my business then, Meredith. Maybe I should just hire a private investigator. And I'm just like, damn, Whitney, like, really? A private investigator? Like, that is so cruel. Like, and it's such a low blow. It's not even a low blow. I don't even know what that is at this point. I'm like, it's crazy. They continue to outdo each other with these comments back and forth with each other every single other episode. Like, last week, I'm like, okay, Lisa went off on her rant about Meredith. I don't think it could get worse than that. And then this episode is like, wait, hold my drink. Because Whitney. And then Meredith, she didn't say anything, because Meredith, if I was you, again, just like I said last week, if I was you, I would have dragged Whitney all across that damn kitchen and that damn house for that comment right there about the private investigator. Like, how dare you say that and say that you need a private investigator to like realize where I was for my dad's memorial that I told you about? Like, so disrespectful. You should have I know she's not the type of woman to do that. Neither is Mary, but I wish that Mary would have grabbed that red wine and just threw it at Whitney and walked away, because Whitney, you have crossed way too many lines. I mean, it's just a mess. It's just crazy how, again, this season is just a roller coaster of emotions, because we started off thinking that Jen was going to be, the villain of the show. And then Mary with her coat, we thought that was gonna happen, but then they kept playing volleyball, like, no, you're gonna be the villain. No, you're gonna be the villain. And then they gave the ball to Jenny, and then now the ball is at Whitney's hand. I mean, it's still in Jenny's hands, but Whitney is also part of that. Like, Whitney, like, how low can you go for this show? But Whitney, she's walking away. And as she's walking away, Mary, she's at the door, and she's just giving her the most dirtiest look. She's just like, women. When I tell you, I probably watched that little clip like maybe 10 times. It was so hilarious to me, and the perfect timing, the dramatic music, everything about it was good. You know, Mary, again, she may not always be right with the things that come out of her mouth, but she does have her moments where she is hilarious. But then Whitney, she does the most lamest shit even more. Like, I didn't know she could get any more lamer, but she goes upstairs and she's telling Jen, and she's like, yeah, Jen, right now, I was just talking to Meredith and I was talking to her about the memorial. And guess what I did? I said that I'm gonna hire a private investigator. Don't you think that line was iconic? I think it was so cool. Like, what do you think? Can I get a sticker for that? And then Jen, I don't know where I stand with you, because you're all over the place too. Like, 1 minute you're this, 1 minute you're that. You're hot and cold like Katy Perry. And she's like, oh, you know, I like that, Whitney. And then she gives her like a high five. She's like, that's my bitch. And I'm like, no, Jen, that was so lame. Like, Whitney was so lame for that, because you could tell that she wanted like admiration or something for that moment. Like, yeah, look what I did. I had a moment and I tried to be cool like Lisa Barlow and try to like low blow Meredith. Like, no, you're not cool for saying that. I wonder if Whitney thought that the audience was going to look at this moment and be like, you know what? It's good that Whitney's trying to get to the bottom of the truth, but obviously it's backfiring in her face, because I don't think nobody's really on Whitney's side. Meredith, she's downstairs in the kitchen. Mary's trying to calm her down. She's like, you know what? Just let like whatever Whitney told you, just kind of like roll off your neck. Like, it's fine, it's whatever. But Meredith, you know, she's not on her tranquilizer anymore. So her head is spinning. So she's like, you know what? No, I'm going to take care of this. So she goes upstairs, and then she's waiting by the bathroom in the room where Jen and Heather and Whitney and Jenny were at. And I'm like, wait, where's Whitney at? Whitney's in the bathroom. And then Whitney, she comes out, and I'm really concerned, because I didn't hear a sink. I didn't hear any of the washing of the hands. I didn't hear any soap, any nothing. She just comes out after she peed. And on top of that, Jen was just like, oh yeah, your pee, it smells like you need some water in your system. So I don't know, Whitney. If I was Meredith, I would have been like, producer, cameraman, Andy Cohen, come over here. She needs to wash her hands before we continue fighting. Like, that is disgusting, Whitney. Again, I don't know. Maybe they cut it out or something, but she comes out and Meredith is like, you need to tell me right now, who are you talking about, and who is accusing me of not being at my memorial? Who is it, Whitney? Tell me right now. I want to hear names. Name everybody. And then Whitney's just like, well, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. It's just not me. It's everybody. But Meredith, that's not a good enough answer for her. She's like, no, Whitney, you need to tell me everybody. Name names. I want to hear the names. Give me the names now. Give me the names. And Whitney's just like, well, okay. Well, Jenny, I think she was talking about it. Jen, were you talking about it? Okay, Jen was talking about it. I think Lisa was talking about it. And Heather was talking. Everybody was talking about it. Yeah, everybody was talking about it. And I just really wish that they would have just thrown Jenny underneath the bus, because again, if my memory serves me correct, it was Jenny who started that whole speculation. I mean, I think I remember from the clips, Jenny was just like, oh, do y'all really believe that she was really at the memorial? And again, just like I said, that's what started the whole domino effect, because that's what had that idea planted in everybody's head. Like, wait, was she? So the whole idea came from Jenny. It's just everybody was dumb enough to kind of go with it. And Lisa, she was dumb enough to go with it last week when Heather kind of put it in her brain. So again, Whitney and Heather are doing the dirty work, and they're kind of just like, oh no, we didn't say anything. This is all everybody else is doing. But Meredith, she's like, but wait, who? Jenny, were you doing it? Did you do it as well? And then Jen, she threw Jenny right underneath the bus. Jen is just like, no, she just said that she called the FBI and that you hired a private investigator. I'm like, damn, everybody was just getting along and you just throw her underneath the bus. And then Jenny's just like, wait, no, I didn't do that. No, that was somebody else. That was Brooks that called the FBI, right, Meredith? No, that wasn't me. And then Jen is just like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, I got confused on who arrested me. And then out of nowhere, Lisa comes out of nowhere like a bat out of hell, and she's like, no, you're not gonna continue lying on me. Meredith, you're a fucking liar. No, I can't believe this. Like, no, you're the fucking liar. You're the fucking liar, because I had your back all this time. I didn't speculate anything. It was all everybody else. I didn't do anything. Do you want a bottle of Vita? Wait, hold on. cameraman, is the camera on me? I need a moment. Like, make sure that you look at me pointing my finger to Meredith. You got it? Okay, got it. Okay, so you're the fucking liar. I can't believe this. Like, you're accusing me of doing this. Like, I didn't do anything. And again, Lisa, you wouldn't be so upset if you wouldn't, open up your eyes a little bit and realize that you were being Heather and Whitney's puppet. It's actually pretty disappointing that you let them both play you like that. Like, I thought you were smarter than that, but I guess not. But regardless, Lisa, she's going off, and Meredith, her head was like tilting at like 100 degrees because every single time she kept talking, like it just kept going more and more. I'm like, damn, bitch, are you like the Exorcist? Because she was just like, wait, Lisa, stop yelling at me. Stop yelling at me. Lisa, stop yelling at me. Lisa, stop yelling at me. You need to lower your voice. Lower your voice. And Lisa's just like, no, I'm not lowering my voice for anybody. You were just yelling at me yesterday in the morning, and so now I'm going to yell at you. And then Lisa, she walks away. Meredith, she walks away as well. And then this is the other lamest shit that Heather and Whitney did, specifically Heather. Again, Heather, she planted it in Whitney's head, surprisingly, because Heather's like, wait, where the fuck is Mary Cosby at? Where is she, and why is she not defending Meredith? And I'm like, what does Mary have to do with anything? Mary is not doing anything. You could take Meredith on. Meredith could take everybody else on in this room. Why does Mary have to be here? Why does everybody need to defend everybody on this show? Like, aren't we grown-ass women? Can't we all defend each other just by ourselves? But that's what put the battery in Whitney's back, and Whitney was stomping around that damn house like she was Godzilla. I was just like, Whitney, you're still like, how much drinks did you have? Because she was storming throughout the hallways. Like, she was like, where's Mary? Where's Mary Cosby? Where's Mary? Mary Ann Cosby, where the fuck are you? And then she ends up finding her in the kitchen. Mary's just, again, she's just sitting down, relaxing. She's not doing anything to anybody. And she goes up to her and she's like, where are you, Mary? Why are you not defending Meredith, huh? Why are you not in the room defending Meredith? And then Mary's just like, Whitney, if you want a problem with Meredith, she's in the bathroom, so you could just wait for her to come out the room. And she said it to her calmly. And Whitney, she's like, no, I'm not taking that. I'm here to fight with you, so let's go. And then Mary's just like, you really need to get out of my face right now. I'm not doing this with you right now, so please just get out of my face. She said it calmly and respectfully, and Whitney, she still continued. She's like, no, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. And then Mary's just like, okay, well, bye. Get out of my face. Bye. And then Whitney, no, no. Hi, I'm Whitney. I'm not going anywhere. Hi. So yeah, why are you not defending Meredith? And I'm just like, it's just, whoo. These women, I'm telling you, if Mary and Meredith just swung on everybody in the house, I promise you nobody would have been mad. I mean, honestly, like I said, Whitney deserved to get dragged along with Heather throughout the entire house because both of them were really, really, really trying it. Like, how are you going to pick a fight with Mary? Like, and they continue saying that, oh, Meredith, she continues letting Mary just run wild with everything. And she's never like sticking up for her. Like, oh, Mary, you need to calm down. You need to stop doing this or stop saying that because you're treating everybody disrespectfully. I mean, the only times that I could agree with them is at the Italian dinner when Mary kind of went off on Whitney for no reason. Then, yes, that's one time. The next time is the whole the slanted eye comment when she was just like, well, I don't really see what she said that was so disrespectful. I wouldn't say it, but I don't see what's so disrespectful. I feel like Meredith should have jumped in and should have told Mary like, yeah, that's kind of wrong for you to say. You shouldn't say that, but she kind of didn't, and she was kind of defending her in what she said. So I could see in those two scenarios, and I'm not really sure any other scenarios because this has been a long ass season, but for the most part, Mary, she's just been calm and collective and everything, and I just don't get what they want out of her. So Mary, she gets up and she's like, you know what? I don't care about this. I don't care about your opinions or your feelings. And then Lisa, she comes into the kitchen as well, followed by Jen and Heather. And Lisa's just like, well, I don't get it, Mary. Like, why are you leaving? If you came here and you don't care about any of us, then why did you come? And then Mary, I feel like this was her last straw. I feel like this episode specifically was when she realized, you know what? I'm not coming to the reunion. I'm not going to continue on with this show. I feel like this was the moment right here because she's like, this was my last straw. This was my last chance of trying to get along with all of you. But honestly, after this, I'm not doing it. So it's just like, no. So Mary, she walked away. Meredith, she comes out of the bathroom, and then they're all just waiting for her to say something. And they're like, oh, well, Heather, she jumps in, and Heather's just like, I really wanted to go at it with Mary, but I didn't out of respect out of you, Meredith, because I know she's your friend. And then Meredith is just like, well, she is my friend, and she's been a really good friend to me. And I'm just, if she's been good to me, then there's no need for me to say anything to her at all. And Lisa, she just can't stand that. All of them, they just cannot stand their friendship. And I really do think that they genuinely have a good friendship. I don't think that Mary has anything on Meredith. I used to think that Mary, maybe she has something on her, but I really do feel like they're just genuinely good friends and they could see past the BS that they all have. So, that's that. Lisa's just like, you know what? I'm not doing this. She goes away. She goes to sleep, and everybody's just still left dissatisfied. The next morning, everybody wakes up and they're all packing up their stuff because they're finally leaving Zion and they're all heading back home. And Jen, she decides to pay Whitney a visit in her room. Whitney, she's waking up with a hangover and she's like, wait, what happened last night? Like last night, I don't really remember a lot. All I remember is I watched 2 episodes of Scooby-Doo and then I fell asleep. Jen, what happened? So then Jen is just like, well, you were just trying to get to the bottom of, certain questions that we all had and you were just trying to find out the truth. And I'm like, no, Jen, that is not what she was doing. She just kept poking at Meredith and Mary the entire night. She wasn't trying to get down to the bottom of anything. Meanwhile, Lisa and Heather in their room, Heather's talking to Lisa and Heather's telling her like, I really don't think that we really held Mary to the fire the way we all should. I mean, their relationship together is just so bizarre. And I'm just like, why are you gonna hold Mary to the fire for what? Like, what did she do? I'm so confused. And I'm not even trying to, stick up for Mary or anything, because if she did something wrong, okay, but I just don't understand what she's been doing these last couple of episodes that, they see her as such a bad person. It's just because I honestly do feel like they're just so upset and angry that Mary is just not giving them a reaction. That's one. And two, that she is extremely loyal to Meredith and Meredith is extremely loyal to her and they're both sticking up for each other. So I feel like they just cannot stand that they can't come in between that. And that's why they're upset. And then Heather, she's just like, I just don't understand Mary. She has just been so violent with her words. She has been openly aggressive. And I'm like, openly aggressive? Like Heather, have we forgotten what Jen was just doing on the bus a couple of episodes ago? Just trying to get physical with Lisa not too long ago? Wasn't that aggressive? Didn't she also call you Shrek? She called you racist. She called you a lot of things. And wasn't that aggressive? But you're calling Mary aggressive? What did she do besides defend herself? Especially at the dinner table the night before. She was just defending herself when everybody was coming at her. So how is she aggressive? She has been polite with all her answers, even though none of you wanted to hear the truth and the exact answer that was coming out her mouth, but she still was honest with all her answers. So I'm not really sure where was she getting aggressive. Was Whitney not the one being aggressive with her last night when she walked up on her and she was just like, no, I'm not going anywhere. Hi, I'm Whitney. I'm not going anywhere. So don't tell me bye. Was that not being aggressive? So I'm not sure how they're trying to paint out Mary to be aggressive when everybody else around them has been aggressive as well. Lisa, was she not screaming at the top of her lungs the night before and screaming and saying, oh, she's richer than everybody, and pointing her fingers at Meredith and everything? Was that not aggressive? So I'm confused, Heather. Again, you're trying to paint out Mary in this picture that you just have no evidence for. I mean, if you want to call her aggressive, then call everybody else on the cast aggressive too, because they all have been cutthroat equally, if not, some more than others. And what I find so fascinating is that they're all trying to get down to the bottom of, was Meredith really at her dad's memorial? Was that really a thing? Or was she just using that as a cover-up because she was the one that really called the cops on Jen and got her arrested? But they're all forgetting the reason why they all think that this memorial is fake is because Jen got arrested. And she's right behind you. The person that you should be questioning is her and her alleged scams. And, is it true? Is it not true? But everybody's just kind of like letting her off the hook. And we're focusing on Meredith and her passed away father, which is a real thing. It's not like she's making that up. And her father is somewhere alive. Like, she's not making that up. But Jen, everybody's just kind of like letting that off like the radar. Like, oh no, she could just go underneath the radar and nobody's really going to say anything. Like, she hasn't been convicted of anything, but everybody has so much to say about her back in Bell. But in person, we kind of just had like a 2-minute conversation. And it's just like, okay, anyway, we're moving on to Meredith and we're going to be talking about this memorial thing for like 20 episodes. So Meredith, she says she's riding on the Sprinter van back home with them because she's like, every time I'm not a part of something or I'm not a part of like a group conversation or anything, they all start gossiping about me behind my back. So this time I want to be there just in case they start talking. Mary, she's just like, no, I'm not going to be a part of this. Like, I'm over the whole foolishness. I'm going to ride back in style in my SUV with the church's money. Could you imagine if Whitney and Heather tried what they're doing with Meredith and her memorial with Teresa from the Housewives in New Jersey, and they were like accusing her of, oh, you weren't really at your parents' memorial, were you? You were somewhere else. Could you imagine if they tried that same type of game that they're doing with Meredith with Teresa? Like, Teresa would not have it. She wouldn't even give them a chance to continue on for a couple of more episodes. So Whitney and Heather, I don't want to say you got the right one with Meredith, but you're lucky that you don't have somebody like Teresa on this cast. So everybody's back home after the Zion trip, and we head over to Meredith's house, and she's talking to her husband, Zeph. And Zeph, again, I don't know what he was on, allegedly, because he was talking about something like Reiki or something like that. Like, if you take it, it kind of relaxes you, and he was just all over the place. And you could tell that Meredith was so annoyed, and she wanted to be like, okay, cut the cameras, because my husband is acting strange. Because he was just like, yeah, when you take this, it soothes something in your body, and you just feel like you have Whitney's breast, and it kind of just relaxes you, and it makes you ooze out everything, all the negativity on Whitney's breast, and it's just so relaxing. If you just take it, it'll make you feel like you have Whitney's breast. Did I tell you about Whitney's breast? Yeah, it's just so good. It's just, you gotta, and then you exhale. And then Meredith, again, she just looked so annoyed. She was like, oh, really? Okay. Well, that's interesting. I mean, maybe I'll try it. Like, you could tell that she wanted to leave so bad. Again, it's just so interesting how Meredith has no patience for the group, but she has patience for her husband. So it's an interesting dynamic between them. But if it works, it works. We also get to see what Heather's doing, and she's celebrating that her daughter finally picked out what college she's going to. So she's having like a mini celebration at the park with a bunch of strangers. And then we head over to Jen's house. She's talking to one of her lawyers, I believe. I'm not really sure if this is the same lawyer that she was talking to like 10 episodes ago, but he's there looking nervous as usual because he knows that she's guilty. Allegedly. And then they're talking about Stu, her partner in crime. I mean, her best friend. Sorry, allegedly. And they're talking about like, oh, we can't get in contact with him unless it's through his lawyer because he's also dealing with his own repercussions and stuff. But we don't really think that he's gonna, do anything unless he takes some type of deal, and then he tries to throw you underneath the bus. And as of now, I believe Stu, that's his name. I believe that he threw her underneath the bus, and he is taking like a plea deal or something like that. Allegedly, I'm not really sure, but at least from what I last remember, he did. So Jen, you're in danger. Allegedly. Again, if you did all of this, who knows? I mean, do y'all still think that she's innocent in all this, or do y'all still think it's guilty? I know we kind of drifted away from this subject because there's been like 20 other scandals that came out on the show ever since Jen's arrest. But what do y'all think? Because the lawyer, he was just looking at his papers and he was sweating. He was just like, let me see. Hold on. Give me 1 second, Jen. Let me look through my notes really quickly because I feel like we have a good case for you. Okay. Okay, so Jennifer Shaw. Who am I kidding? You're guilty. We all know that that's probably what he wanted to burst out. Like, can you just give me my money so I can leave and stop wasting my time? And then we see Lisa. Lisa's back in her house, and I could tell that Mary and her comment about, oh, you don't feed your family nutritions. All you feed them is Taco Bell. You could tell that it probably got underneath her skin, or maybe it was just shady editing because all of a sudden Lisa has like a grill on top of the table, and her 2 sons are right around the table, and her husband is there too, and they're looking at her like, Mom, what is this? You never cooked before. What are you doing? And Lisa's just like, oh yeah, like, I'm such a good chef. I should be on Celebrity Chef or something. Like, I should have my own show and my own cooking show because I know how to cook. And she was just adding random shit on the grill. Like, I don't know what this is. This is bacon. Okay, this is gonna go there. What is this? Is this pepper? Okay, this is there too. Is this cheese? Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna do a huge concoction. She had no idea what she was doing. She just didn't want to look dumb from Mary's comment last week. Maybe, but either way, she has a conversation with her husband after, and she's telling him, I can't believe what's going on with me and Meredith and Mary and Jen. I'm just not going to be their punching bag anymore. Like, I love me and I love them, but I love me more than them. Wait a minute. I think that could be my tagline for this season. What do you think? I think you don't have to like me. I love myself enough for the both of us. Oh my God, I love it. Like, do you love it too? Yeah, I love it too. Okay, so I'm gonna email Andy tonight and say that that's my tagline. But yeah, I don't get it. Every time that, Jen and Meredith, they have a fallout or something, I'm always in the middle. And I'm like, Lisa, you're in the middle because you choose to be in the middle. You don't have to choose sides. You could just be cordial, but you continue trying to make both of them best friends, which makes you into the whole situation and adds you into the problem. And then you open your mouth too much, and then it causes you to look like the troublemaker. So then we head over to Mary's church, and she felt it in her spirit to invite Jen to her grand opening because her church has been closed the entire time due to the pandemic. So this is the first time that everybody's gathering at her church, and it's also Mother's Day weekend, I believe. So Jen, she arrives. She's a little nervous, but she's like, you know what? I want to be there for Mary. I want to support because I know everybody's been speculating that she's a cult leader, and I know what it feels like to have people assume things about you because obviously everybody's been assuming that Jen, she has committed these frauds and these kind of scams allegedly. So she's sitting down, she's looking at everything, and Mary, so this whole situation, this whole scene, I really thought about it and I watched it over and over again. And I saw what people were saying online and stuff like, it was weird, it was this, it was that, and blah, blah, blah. And I also saw some opinions like, oh, this is what happens at black churches. And I have no say in that because I've never been to a black church. But just from my opinion, and this is just me, this is just what I think, because religion, I know it could be a slippery slope for some people and, it could be a sensitive subject like politics. But in my opinion, I feel like religion could sometimes be, or most times could be like cult-like mentality, regardless whether it's a black church, a Spanish church, or any type of church, because I've been to a Spanish church many, many years ago. I used to, like, when I was forced to, when I was younger, and I always thought, like, as over the years, I thought about it and I'm just like, yeah, I don't really like that. I don't like the whole how, you have to fan somebody, or you have to you have to pray to this one preacher, or you have to look at them like they're some type of God or whatever. And I know that people were saying that the reason why everybody was so overly emotional at the church was because the church itself was closed for a whole year because of the pandemic. So this is the first time that everybody went back and they were all overly emotional and excited to be there. And the reason why they were all praising Mary was because it was Mother's Day. I get that, but regardless whether it was Mother's Day or not, I still just don't believe in, like, praising the pastor like that, regardless whether it was Mary or somebody else. Even for the Mormon church, I don't believe in all of that either. I really do think that that's also a cult as well as this, because again, the behavior was just strange. How the girl was just like hugging on to Mary and she was crying and saying, oh, I love you, I need you, I'll never leave you, you're my best friend. And they were all saying that, oh, she knows how to dress so nicely. And I'm like, okay, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. And they were all just, bowing down to her and have their arms, in front of her like that, and somebody behind her was fanning her with a fan. I don't believe in any of that type of behavior at churches, because again, I'm not going to a church, regardless of whoever's church, and I'm not about to, look at a preacher and be like, oh, they're better than me, or like something like that, or I have to, bow down to you. No, because we all know that these preachers, they all have a bunch of skeletons in their closet, and they want to go to church and pretend like, oh, I'm holier than thou, I'm this, that, and the third, and God sent me here to, give everybody the word. But here they are from Monday through Saturday, sinning every single day and doing a bunch of, foolishness. And again, I don't completely not believe in religion, because I still believe in certain part of religions here and there, just not completely. Certain things I do question, like, if this is true, why does this happen? Or if this is happening, why is this happening? I do question things like that. I'm not just going to go off based what, a book says or what a preacher says. Like, no, I have questions, and it's okay for me to, ask questions and to question everything around me, not just this, So again, I want to be respectful and share my opinions on it and my thoughts. I know everybody, they could believe in whatever they want. You could believe in any religion, but that's just my take on this scene and in religion itself, because I believe that sometimes organized religion can lead to people having cult-like mentalities. So then we head over to Meredith's house, and she's there with a bunch of people with these machines that they stick on these suction cups around your body parts so they could work your muscles out without you having to physically do anything or physically get up. You're just laying there. So Daphne and Velma, they're in the car and they're heading to Meredith's house. And Whitney, there she goes again, speculating things and miswording things, because she's like, yeah, I just can't believe that Meredith, she wants us to be over her house for a play date. And I brought my Barbies and my Bratz dolls, but I don't think I'm going to let her play with them, because you won't believe what she said to me, Heather. She said that she doesn't believe that my dad was on drugs. Like, can you believe that? Like, why would you say that? That is so mean. And you know what? I brought my Tickle Me Elmo too, and I don't think I'm going to let her play with it. I just bought him so that way she could be jealous. I just can't believe she said that. And I'm just like, wait a minute, Whitney, when did she say anything about your dad's drug issue? And then they even put the flashback to what Meredith said. She said she doesn't believe that you and your father don't talk. So I'm not sure how many drinks you had that night, but obviously your memory failed you. And Heather, she's like, wow, I can't believe that. I really wonder why she's bringing this over here to her house. And then Whitney's just like, well, I feel like she's guilty of something and she's just trying to kiss our ass. I'm like, Whitney, nobody's trying. I promise you, nobody's trying to kiss your ass here on this show at all, because you're just taking things out of context. She didn't say that. Meredith, she just wants to kind of have a truce with you, because she feels like, maybe there's misunderstanding between you, Heather, and Whitney. And then Meredith, back at her house, she greets them. And I don't know what Meredith was on. I don't know if she's on the same thing that Zeph was on earlier, because all of a sudden she's just so happy and excited. She's just like, Hey, Whitney. Hey, Heather. Mwah, mwah. Oh, I love your glasses. Go lay down really quickly. Yeah, we're gonna get a workout. Do you want any drinks? Zeph, get some drinks. Look, it's Whitney and her breasts. They're here. Yeah, go lay down. No, go lay down. And honestly, if I was Whitney and Heather, I would not trust Meredith at all, so I could lay down. We just had a whole issue as Zion, and we said some pretty foul things to each other. And now you want me to lay on the bed with a bunch of tentacles around me? No, so I could be the next Bride of Frankenstein? Absolutely not. But they go in there, and Whitney, she's a little bit suspicious. She's like, why is Meredith acting like that? All of a sudden she has her tranquilizer back in her body. She's like, oh, I don't get why she's acting like that. But okay, so she's laying down, Heather's laying down, they're getting like these little massage workout things on their arms. And then Meredith, she's sitting down next to Whitney, and she's like, well, how do you love it? Do you love it? Isn't it so nice and relaxing? Do you want me to turn it up a little bit more? Do you want me to turn it up a little bit? You want me to turn it down? Okay, fine. And then Whitney, she's like, well, I know we have to get down to the bottom things, and I just want to talk about this whole memorial situation. And I'm like, here we go again. In this woman's own house, like the disrespect. But Meredith, she finally answers. And honestly, I wish that Meredith would have just answered this as Zion. So that way it wouldn't have been, this prolonged or this dragged on. But she was just like, I had my memorial on the 29th. And then Heather's like, finally, then why did Lisa tell us that it was on the 30th, a Tuesday? Because supposedly you were at it on a Monday. So why did she say that? And honestly, this is what happened. This is what I believe that is happening. I feel like Lisa, she was just shook up. She was just shook up in the van at Beauty Lab when she was on the phone with Meredith, and she just accidentally said, "Oh yeah, she's at the memorial," not thinking anything of it. I don't think that she did it any maliciously or any malicious intent behind it. I feel like she just was in the moment. She had a lot of emotions running through her, and she didn't know what to do. So she kind of just was just like, "Yeah, Meredith is at her memorial anyway." She didn't think it was going to be anything deeper than that, but obviously Whitney and Heather did. Either that or B, I feel like Lisa knew what she was doing, and she just purposely was just like, oh yeah, she's at her dad's memorial. So she could kind of throw everything off and kind of get ahead of Whitney and Heather, thinking like this is going to be a big thing. But I just don't think, I know Lisa's very produced, but I don't think she's that produced to that point where she would like make up this whole thing for what? Like, how would you even know that Jenny, Whitney, or Heather would have took the bait? So I don't think that she did that. I honestly just feel like, oh yeah, it was just a complete accident and a complete misunderstanding. So the fact that Heather and Whitney are even trying to plant some doubt in Meredith's head, and it actually worked, because Whitney's just like, well, how do you feel about the whole situation now? How do you feel about Lisa? Because we're gonna go to her event next episode, and Meredith is just like, well, I'm not sure. I'm pretty conflicted, because when we're supposed to be friends of 10 years, you just don't make things up like that. I think it's very disrespectful. And I'm just looking at her say this. I'm like, Meredith, if you think that this is disrespectful, just wait till you get to the reunion and you see the clip of Lisa going off on you and calling you a whore in the bathroom last episode. Like, wait till you get to that. That's the real issue right there. And that was that, y'all. What did y'all think about this episode? I thought it was a good one. And just like I said before, ever since Jen's arrest all the way up to this point, it has been chaos nonstop, and every single episode has not been disappointing. So it's pretty good so far. It's pretty bittersweet how next week is the finale, but then again, we have the reunion. I wonder if it's going to be a 2-part, 3-part, 4-part reunion. What do y'all think? But speaking of finale, I actually thought that they were going to cut out that scene of Jenny throwing the drink at Mary as she's walking away, but I guess not, because they put it in the preview for the finale, so we'll eventually have to see it when the episode airs. But I'm just so curious to see what is Jenny's bullshit excuse for doing that to Mary as she's walking away. But I guess we'll have to see when it airs. And speaking of, we're not going to get the new episode next week because it's the Super Bowl, so they're going to skip a week. So I believe the next episode is going to be in 2 weeks from now. And then the reunion, I'm assuming. So that's that. So no Salt Lake Cities for next week, unfortunately. But, it's been a pretty good season so far. And it's it's bittersweet that it's kind of coming to an end already, because, again, I was just so used to my Sundays being toxic. So now it's going to go back to being peaceful. But that's that, y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, y'all. Mwah.